Okay, guys, we're going to go getting started. First off, I just want to say real quick, the award I got, just the recognition I got earlier, that was a complete shock to me, and then I was totally surprised, and I was speechless, and I don't remember being speechless. We got a real short time, but I want to say one thing to you. On Wednesday night, I was at Bethune-Cookman University, and it was a celebration of Black History Month in honor of my dad. So let me say that again. I was at Bethune-Cookman University for a celebration of Black History Month in honor of my dad. So then to be here and to get the recognition of the University of Florida, there's a line there. And what I would tell you what that is that, you know, a wise man once said that if all you do in your life is love people that are just like you, what good is that? You know, you learn in life, when you learn to love people that are different from you, and you cross bounds and you get boundaries, that's what life is really about. So anyway, as a legacy of my father to me, I just want to say thank you. Now, let me get back to my job, what I'm doing. So, I need to tell you guys a little story. Several years ago, I was contacted by International Council of Shopping Centers Foundation about creating a scholarship program where we acknowledged real estate programs, undergraduate real estate programs across the United States. And they asked me to pick 25 different universities to work with. And then we would then provide a scholarship. And I thought that was going to be an easy thing to do until I found out there was really no stabilized, accurate ranking system for any schools and undergraduate programs. There's one that exists, but it's kind of flawed. And so we started trying to figure out what do we need to do to rank these schools. So Brian Caroline, where's Brian? Where are you, Brian? Oh, way in the back, way in the back. Brian, who's a graduate of this program, working with us at my company. Brian, the brains of this, we came up with a system of our own to how to rank schools across the country. Now, let me point this out to you. The core requirement for a university to get the scholarship is that they have an undergraduate program in real estate. Now, you know, University of Florida does not have one, by the way. But I mean this with no biasness at all. The way we created our ranking system, the University of Florida, even without having an undergraduate program, finished in the top 5 and has finished top 5 every single year, which is cool. And it's a big deal with this scholarship because it gets global recognition, it gets the university known in more places, and it's a big deal. There are other universities, and I know University of Florida does too, they announce their rankings in their programs about where they are, so this is a big thing. But we didn't know if our pitch was going to work, so Brian and I finished the presentation, I flew up to New York, I met with the board, and I explained the whole ranking system, and I did point out University of Florida didn't have it, but and the board voted unanimously, and there you go. But you know, as time went by, I keep getting worried about it because I've had this thought of I roll off this board in May, and what if I roll off the board in May and they replace me with like a heaven forbid University of Georgia grad, and then they point that out, and then somehow Florida gets messed up. So this has always been the back of my mind. So the ICSC came back to me, and they said, hey, regarding these 25 schools, what we want to do is raise $25,000 for each school, and then we'll give you an additional $25,000, and that way the schools have $50,000 in an account that go directly to students that are looking to go into real estate undergraduate. And so I thought, well, this is really important. It's really important that we secure this for the University of Florida so that we don't, you know, it doesn't ever go away and we have that thing happening. So I was thinking about that and how to tackle that as a challenge to raise that $25,000. And so it occurred to me, I came with an idea. And I thought, well, you know what if we named the scholarship the Maury L. Carter Scholarship after Mr. Maury Carter, who's sitting right here, and with his wife, who frankly deserves it more than him, frankly. We should just call it, you know. Anyway, that's another day, we'll talk about that. And Mr. Carter's in our Hall of Fame, and so I thought, well, that would make sense. So then I went and saw Daryl, and I said, Daryl, what if we name this in honor of your dad, who's in the Hall of Fame? And I said, I tell you what, Daryl, what if we took the $25,000 and you raise half, and I raise half, and then we'll get this done? And I think Daryl was thinking maybe, you know, he was going to call 10, 20 people or whatever. I didn't think that. You know what I did? I emailed Kelly Bergstrom, like, just so you know, like, so I emailed Kelly Bergstrom, and I said, Mr. Bergstrom, would you consider doing this? Minutes later, I had a check for half the money. So then I went back to Daryl, and I said, Daryl, I'm done, which I got done in like 30 seconds, you know. And so Daryl then did, in the same format, he then contacted Jim Heaston, and Jim Heaston, boom, wrote the check, done. It's done. First university in the whole program to raise the money, University of Florida. So there you go. Okay. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. So there's two parts of the story, but the first thing I just want to officially do, because I just want to say this officially. As a board member of the International Council of Shopping Centers, I am pleased to announce that formally the Maury L. Carter and Associates Scholarship to benefit the University of Florida. Thank you and congratulations. So. Now, so this week we're getting ready to prepare for the conference, and I came to work, and Daryl and I share office space, so we're there together. And I get a note that I need to see his assistant immediately, and I thought I was in big trouble. And so I walked over there, and I was handed a $10,000 check for the Maury Carter Scholarship Fund, and it was signed by Maury Carter. So, you know, I thought that was kind of cool that he wrote a check to his own. That's pretty cool, guys. He did that. So he wrote $10,000 check. And then a couple days later, Daryl comes up to my office and puts up against the window a second $10,000 check from an anonymous donor who was also close with Mr. Carter. And then we had a little more coming in. So, you know, we were supposed to raise $25,000. We raised $50,000 plus the $25,000. So now it's at $75,000. So that's pretty awesome. So I get way to go. Exciting, right? Now, I know that none of you here would consider yourselves to be competitive people, right? You guys don't care about rankings. Is that something that's a big deal to you? I don't know. So you might ask yourself, well, John, of those 25 schools, where does University of Florida now rank with all this wonderful money that's been given in? And the answer is it's right fourth, fifth, right there. And then you might wonder who's number one. The number one school that's raised the most money so far, it's going to surprise you, is the University of Central Florida. And I think that's adorable. I do. I think that's great. But guys, come on, Gator Nation, really? Do you really want to get beat by the Knights? I mean, charge on, really? So I just would ask you to think about maybe making a donation. It goes to the ICC Foundation, but 100% of the money goes to UF students. 100%. It's a big deal. So if you want to donate or if you have questions, let me know. Or you can let Daryl know, and we'll get you information how to donate so you can be a part of that. Oh, and I forgot this. You're not going to believe this. SMU, they got a guy there who gave 25 grand. He said he's committed to raise 50 because he wants to make sure that his total is well over $100,000. And I don't mean to bring this up, but you know, SMU has a history of cheating. I mean, Craig James, and you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Don't let them beat the Gators. You guys got to raise the money and get to the top. So if you could do any more of that, that'd be fine. And then one final note, I just thought you might find this interesting. The University of Georgia so far has raised $400. So they apparently don't know how to play well in the secondary and raise money. Those are two challenges of them. Anyway, I'm done. Congratulations again, Mr. Carter, and thank you so much for your support. And Tim is now coming on.
Well, good afternoon. It's that time of the day and year for us to hold our Hall of Fame ceremony. A little bit about the Hall of Fame. We started this back in 2008 to recognize leaders in the industry who've really spent their lifetime in transforming the industry in our state, their communities, and the students that they touch. And we're honored to say that we have 10 inductees into the Hall of Fame at this point in time. And we're fortunate to have 3 of them in the audience right now, Mr. Maury Carter, Mr. Kelly Bergstrom, and last year's inductee, Mr. Ron Terwilliger, is also with us today. So we're honored that they come back, celebrate the next inductee into the Hall of Fame. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kelly Bergstrom, who's going to do the presentation of this year's inductee.
Thank you very much, Tim. And thanks again to John Crossman and the Crossman Companies for their great scholarship support of the University of Florida. As Tim mentioned, when we established the Real Estate Center at the University of Florida, we felt that part of our purpose was to recognize people who have been successful leaders in our industry. Today, we honor Jorge Perez, the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of the Related Group of Florida. A little background on George. He was born in Argentina to Cuban parents. After living for a period of time in Colombia, George arrived in Miami at the age of 18. He went on to college at Long Island University's C.W. Post College, and then from there to the University of Michigan, where he earned a master's degree in urban planning. George started his career in Miami as an urban planner for the city of Miami, focusing on working class neighborhoods. In 1979, he met Stephen Ross, the founder of the Related Companies, and started his real estate business. Under George's direction, the Related Group of Florida has redefined South Florida housing. Since its inception over 30 years ago, the firm has built more than 80,000 condominium and rental residences. The Related Group is Florida's biggest multifamily developer and one of the largest Hispanic-owned businesses in the United States. While the Related Group is best known for luxury, high-rise development and mixed-use urban centers, the firm has a diversified portfolio that includes affordable and multifamily rental properties. At the present time, they have 29 properties under construction, totaling 6,700 units. Throughout his life, George has been a passionate art collector. He first connected with art in high school in Columbia, where he devoured books on the subject and visited museums after school. He started collecting 3 decades ago and has an amazing array of classic 20th century works by prominent Latin American artists. In 2011, he made the largest gift ever to the Miami Art Museum. The gift was both a large gift of his personal collection and cash. The museum is now called, very appropriately, the Perez Art Museum, Miami. It is a major South Florida cultural attraction. So, on behalf of the University of Florida and the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies, it is my pleasure to award Jorge Perez a member of our Hall of Fame. George, will you please come forward?
When they called me up to ask me if I'd say it, I said if I have to give a speech, I would refuse. I hate public speaking. But let me just say something. I see there's the combination of real estate people and students, and when I saw the honor list, including Ron Terwilliger, who's been a competitor and a friend for many years, I said this is very important, and particularly when we have real estate programs that are going to develop people in this industry, which is so important. For those that are students, I think that as my 2 older sons that are now, one is with me and one working in New York in real estate, I said that I always find that to me, real estate is the most incredible profession one can have. You know, I can't think of any industry where you can as a developer, you can actually see and feel the baby being born, and you see it over and over again. It's something that one takes great pride. You know, we take great pride in everything that we do, and the design and the execution, the making the deal, and then actually seeing come up and look at buildings that are going to change the skyline, that are going to change the way people live or people shop. You know, it's an exciting thing. You get to really feel that passion on a daily basis. So programs in real estate that that communicate that and teach people the skills that are necessary to be in this business are very important, and that's why I'm very honored, to be recognized, by people in my profession, and I encourage you to continue. It's a beautiful profession if done correctly. It needs to be done with great passion. So what we leave behind are important footprints. When they tell me about making money, I think yes, this is the reason that we do it, but more important is that legacy that we leave behind. So so every time that we do a project, we need to think of how is it going to what is this doing for the community and the cities in where we work, and what is the legacy that we're leaving behind. So it's a wonderful profession. I hope you all honor it, and I'm very honored to receive this award today. Thank you very much.